Hello and welcome to Channel Sports on Sunday. I'm Ken Ochonogo. I know you guys have been waiting. We are starting a few minutes, later than we intended. And I tell you, in Lagos, you just can't predict what the road will look like. It is just 5 days to the Olympics. 5 days. But even as we speak now, it is 4 days in Japan, because you know the time, the time difference between the east and the west, between Nigeria and Tokyo. So talking about 5 days to go, because today is 18, but we are starting on the 23rd of July. I believe they are 12 hours ahead of us, which means by 12 noon it will be 12 midnight over there, and they are saying you can count them on your fingers using the words of the great Ernest Okonkwo. He says it's 5 minutes to go. You can count them in one finger. It is now 5 days to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is what we are talking about. We've waited so long. We waited for 4 years. We waited 1 year extra, and now we are waiting another 5 days. But then they said it will hold. We shall go to to Tokyo, not live, but getting news about what is happening in the IOC, how prepared they are for this grand event. This is the biggest sporting event in the world. For every 4 years, we do it, but then this time around, it is the 5th year. Everything is into the 5th year. We postponed 1 year of our lives, but then we are alive, and that is why we could do that. But then we are sending a team to Tokyo. We're sending a team. This is not the first time we're doing it. We've been doing that, and we are hoping that, yes, from the solitary bronze medal we won 5 years ago in Rio, something we can make an improvement. And before we left last week, we were asking you, would it be England or Italy? Eventually, our football went to Rome instead of going home. But then that was not just it. Djokovic said, they were 10 years ahead of me, but right now it is 20. All the big guns have 20 in their arms, and then who will take number 21? And they said, don't count the Joker out. But then before he goes to the US Open, he said, I'm going to Tokyo, so that by the time I get number 21, it's going to be a golden slam. And no man in the modern era has done that. No man in the modern era has won at least 2 big ones, which means we're talking about Australian Open, French, Wimbledon, and the US Open. No man has won it at least twice, but Djokovic has done that. I mean, he keeps on breaking those records. He keeps on telling them, making that statement that, Muhammad Ali said, I am the greatest. I knew it even before I said it. So I'm telling you, Djokovic, he says, the numbers are speaking for him, and you can't take that away from him. But then, let's calm down. In one area where, there have been crises in that particular federation, we've been asking what is legit and what is not, but then they go over there. Conquered Africa in the male and female, the only African country, yes, the only African country to send a male and female team to the Olympics now, especially when our strong force we've been suffering has to be basketball. Basketball said, we are doing it, we've done it before, and then but how far can they go? They came in with some, I tell you, a surprising result of beating the USA. But then somebody said, even if they do that, was it just a friendly? That is what we want to find out. I am not in a better position to do so. I want to see if Femi Adefeso, if Femi is ready. Femi is a think tank. Femi is the #1 man. Femi can tell you what is happening. I just want to enjoy myself. Let's go. It's right here. Hello, Femi. How are you?
Good morning, Ken. Always a delight to be on the show with you. I'm excited, just as you are, about our national teams going to the Olympics.
Okay, before we go that, Femi, is it going to be Son? Okay, no. It's going to be the box in 6, or is it going to be the Son in 6 or in 7?
That's a very interesting question, because when the final started, it was looking like the Suns in 6, but now it might actually be maybe the Suns in 7 or the Bucks in 6, because the way the pendulum swung in the last 3 games.
Yes.
The last 2 games that they've played, winning games 3 and games 4,
yeah,
for the Bucks and the way they've been able to hold on things. You want to say that the Bucks are now the favorites to win, unlike what we thought in the beginning. So I would say the Bucks in 6, and if it goes to game 7, maybe the Phoenix Suns can sneak in things, but it's not looking good for the Suns anymore. Giannis Antetokounmpo is fantastic. I haven't seen any player with the kind of mindset that he has shown in this final. They were 2 games down. And I remember one of the reporters asking him, what he felt about the finals. And all he could come up with was the fact that, look, I'm happy to be here. This is an opportunity of a lifetime to be playing in the finals. I just want to play. I want to have a memorable game. I will give it all my best. I will try to make stops. And he was so modest about everything. And everybody was beginning to talk about the kind of mindset that this man has. He's not picking on the mistakes. He's not looking at his teammates, not showing up like other superstars will do, that we've heard in times past. He's just very optimistic, very excited. And you can see, I think the game changer was that block on the alley-oop by DeAndre Ayton. And that shows the mindset he had. Minutes to the game. I have never seen an alley-oop block before in my life since I've been watching basketball. Giannis did it first. And that, for me, shows just how much the Bucks want it. And I think they really want it really, really bad. And they might likely get it ahead of the Phoenix Suns. So I'm tipping them to win these finals altogether. Sorry, Chris Paul fans. I'm one of those guys. But I think my Giannis Antetokounmpo really wants this for his team. And it looks like they will get it.
The game early this morning swung and swung and swung. But I want you to go back to that very critical steal. That steal by Devin Brooks. Of course, the Suns came back. And we're talking about 28 seconds to go. And it was a question of just go over there and get it done. And bam, he stole that. And before you knew it, straight to Giannis. No, how critical, what that moment, are you seeing that moment as a defining moment of these finals? You've talked about the blocks.
Absolutely, Ken. Yeah, absolutely, Ken. At those moments, you require not just guts, but what players will call a presence of mind because of what is at stake. And it begs the question of how big a star you are. To be able to hold your own at that point. And for him to be able to lose it, I'm sure it will affect his confidence a lot. And the Bucks, that's why I said that, the pendulum, has sort of swung the way of the Bucks, because now they know they can get these guys. They know these guys can't stand when the occasion brings a lot of pressure. And I think that's what they will capitalize on. It's just sad that you would expect a bigger fight, and you don't expect players of that kind of caliber to lose their head in moments like that. But that's what this kind of pressure brings. It's a test, and I'm sure it's a learning experience for all of them as they move forward.
You talked about the support cast, and then in the first 2 games, Giannis himself was it was a doubt how fit he was in those 2 first games. But this morning, Femi, Middleton, Holiday. I mean, how much was the contribution of this? Middleton was. I mean, I don't want to use the word a beast. I want to do that. Holiday was all there. Giannis was.
In basketball terms, it's allowed, so you can go ahead and call me this.
Femi, please, can you tell me? I mean, what the contribution of the support cast in beefing that confidence that the Bucks have suddenly gotten that to be that they are the team in motion.
Yes, I mean, last season, we were all talking about the fact that it was only Giannis Antetokounmpo that box. There was no superstar. It's not looking like he has enough firepower to help him get to that final order, which was getting to the finals. Really. And then they started the season in a very interesting manner. And we're all still having our doubts. But what has happened is Chris Middleton, I think what has helped him the most has been going to the World Cup in 2019 with Team USA, because he put a lot of responsibility on his shoulder, and he knows quite all right that if the Bucks are going to succeed, if Giannis is going to succeed, then he has to come forward. And he's improved his game. He's a better 3-point shooter now. In fact, people say he's a closer, and that he's a more clutch player, a player that plays better towards the end of the game than anybody else in these finals. And you've seen that profile grow, his confidence grows, and whenever he plays well, they win. And we must say also kudos to Drew Holiday, who is also a very intricate addition to that team. The point guard position was always difficult, and so oh, my lights are out. Thank God you're back. This is Nigeria. So interestingly, so you look at Chris Middleton and you look at Drew Holiday, how interesting they come forth and how they've been able to support Giannis. It's incredible because Giannis is also playing with an injury. A lot of people forget that.
Yes.
He had extended his knee. People ruled him out. All the big players who had that kind of thing, Chris Bosh, all those big guys, they said, look, they doubt if he'll be able to play. But he has put himself on the line because he knows what matters. And that's what big players do. Kevin Durant did it when he was at Golden State. Unfortunately, he got a more bigger injury. We saw even James Harden try to do it for the Brooklyn Nets during these finals with an hamstring issue. He couldn't play at his best, and they lost to the Bucks, even though they pushed all the way to Game 7. So that's what is expected of big players, and Giannis is showing that he is that big-time player. But we must commend Chris Middleton, who has been the closer of the team. Giannis seems to be the guy who carries the team from first quarter all the way down, and then Middleton is like the final dagger, that causes all the big damage at the end of the games, which they've won.
Yeah, because when you look at 32, 29, and 27 contribution, it tells you, yes, the man that starts it and ends it, and then also that team, reminding us of that troika that were in Florida, the Heat, then when they were knocking it out, and let's see,
Exactly.
And like I said, you remember, so we don't know whether it is going to be the Bucks in 6, or this time, if the Sun has to win it, it has to be the Suns in 7. But then let's come back.
Definitely.
Let's come back home. We saw some heartwarming results during the. Even if it was a play, if it was what would normally in football we do set, whatever. I never imagined that we can have it over the USA. Did it over the USA, did over the Argentines, and then so how is that shaping up for the Tigers? Going to Tokyo.
It's a good one for them, and it's a mind shift also for doubters, for believers as well, and even Africans generally. It's a mind shift because we always go to these tournaments as participants. The Olympic mantra, we always stand by it. Let's go and participate. If we win, fine. But now we have a situation whereby it's now like, let's go and try to get to the medals. Let's get to the podium if we can. And that's what the Tigers have been able to do with the build up to these games. I think it's the best time in the history of basketball for an African team. No African team has gone out of the group stage. So that's one ordeal to climb, which I hope we can. We've managed to win one game at the Olympics. In 2012, we beat Tunisia. In 2016, we beat Croatia. We ended up leading our group. So winning a game is not the problem anymore. So it's now getting that ordeal of the number of games we can win after beating the USA, which was a big statement. I think the US are in their most vulnerable states ever. And for the first time in a long time, they are not the favorites to win the Olympic gold medal, which I think would be something every other team will be relishing. Because now everybody wants to take a bite at them.
Femi, I saw that their game with Australia, and I don't know. I think the Aussies, are they the favorite? Are they the favorite? Are they going
Absolutely.
To this?
Yes, honestly. The Australians are the favorites going to this Olympics. And really, the factors are clear for the Americans. Let's be honest. First of all, is a combination of many things. For Coach Greg Popovich, this is his second outing with the national team. They've had a coach, Coach Michael Kursky, who was the coach of Duke, who has been the head coach of Team USA since the 80s. And he has been the coach all down, the late 80s, early 90s up until now. So it's a change, in the realm of affairs. Of course, coaches want to bring their imprint. Secondly, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Kevin Durant is the only player that has played at this level before, that is on this present team. Kevin Durant was even in London 2012. And so you look at it, every other player is coming into the Team USA as a new, maybe Chris Middleton, who hasn't even joined the team yet, is still in the NBA finals. Every other player is coming to the FIBA tournament as a fresher. And you know, the FIBA rules are a bit different from the NBA rules. So I want to believe even the adjustments that will be required, it's a learning process for this team. And it's affecting them. You can see that, you know, players are trying to call timeout when you can't, only when the ball is dead. You know, the offensive, defensive 3 seconds thing, you know, the ball is different. So it's really a mindset shift for a lot of these players, because they are trying to learn and adjust and being conscious when, you know, basketball is a thing of automation for you. You know, you just play. Like, you have to be conscious of all of these rules changes. I think it's what is really plaguing the Americans at this particular tournament. And then the complement of all the big stars that we don't have. I mean, Damian Lillard is a great player, but he's just coming in for the first time. In there, Kevin Durant seems to be like the biggest player. Every other player too, you know, they are big in their own right, but that mix, they've not gelled. And it's a real big problem for them, and that's why they look very vulnerable. The Australians have, unlike the Americans, the Australians are used to this. They use the FIBA rules in their own league. They also play, a lot of them play internationally. Only a few of them play, you know, in the NBA, and they are well aware because they always play these things together. So it's not looking good for the Americans, to be honest. And I think gives every other team the upbeat feeling that they can win this. Maybe Spain is another team that looks like they have a big chance to actually get Olympic gold in there as well. And maybe France, if I'm going to be looking at how teams shape up. I can put Nigeria in the mix as well.
No, you just put Nigeria. Just say what we can say. Nigeria is in the mix from the results. But then let's really come to the critical one. The Gumi case. We have 3 fantastic sisters, and we were celebrating that they are all in here. Suddenly, FIBA says no. Erica, you can have without any condition. You know, Chini, it has to be a naturalized player. But then, what happens to Neka? What is the position now?
So there are 2 sides to this. If I want to be patriotic, I would say yes, go. We need Neka, we should have a rain. But if we want to look at procedures and the realistic approach to this, I think FIBA is being very cautious. And the truth is, for me, I'm looking at the case of precedence, because Neka has played, which is the case they made. Neka has played over 10 years with the U.S. national team. She's played at the World Cup before with the U.S. national team. So how do you explain the fact that she now wants to switch to another team because she's been dropped for a tournament? I'm thinking from a FIBA standpoint, they're looking at it saying, if we set this precedence, then virtually every other player might decide after they are dropped from the national team assignment to switch allegiance to another national team, based on this excuse of, okay, they are going to improve basketball in that nation. So imagine the amount of paperwork they will have to do every World Cup, every AfroBasket, every Olympic year. So I think it's a difficult place, a situation that FIBA is in. Erica made a very good case for herself. From the get-go, day one, she has said she wants to play for Nigeria. So she had no problem. And it was very easy. For Chine never played at the senior level for the U.S. national team. She played at the junior level. That also makes things a little easier for her to scale to. But for Nneka, it's tougher because she has represented at senior level, not just a short stint. She's played over a decade for that national team. So it's a tough call for the administrators. Like I explained, you want to look at all of those precedences you want to set, and now you are going to deal with it going forward. But they've named them from what I gathered. They've named Nneka on the squad. I don't think Chineye is there. But I'm a bit worried, and I'll share my worry here, because we hear that the federation has gone to CAS, or she has, in between both of them, to appeal that. So in the meantime, she can be on the team. My worry is, what if she loses the appeal? If she loses the appeal, and maybe we end up getting to the medal round,
if we lose the appeal, we mean we cannot replace, and then also use that talk about Elizabeth Williams,
who is American. She's full-blooded American. She wants to naturalize. So that's another procedure on its own. But she's also had stints with the U.S. national team. So that's the complication. So in finishing, what I'm worried about is, okay, what if we can't replace her? She plays, we end up getting a medal, and then the result is we fielded an ineligible player. then it nullifies all the results. And and whatever it is that we do. So it's a tricky thing at the moment. I think it can be ongoing conversation between FIBA and the Nigeria Basketball Federation, since the US have released to get things sorted out over time. But I don't think we should rush it. If we are really going to have her. I know she wants to play at these Olympic Games. Everybody wants to have a complement of that. But we also have a very good team. So it's not like we really need. We are not in a desperate situation. Our D Tigers are two-time African champions. We went to the World Cup and we got to the quarterfinals as well. Without. So I don't think we should force the issue. If it's not working now, let's hold on. Let's go on with these girls we have. I think we have a very good complement of ladies. And if I might tell you the truth, I think our women's basketball team even stand is bigger chance
I didn't want to ask that.
Guys.
Yeah.
That's the truth. That's the truth. And
Yes.
even the guys.
Yeah.
We played the US national team twice already in the last 2 years. We played them at the last World Cup.
Yeah.
It was a very close game up until the final quarter. At the Olympic qualifiers, we were this close to beating US at the Olympic qualifiers. It was just in the last 2 minutes where Victoria McCauley got fouled out. They took advantage of that. We were leading at some point in the last 2 minutes of the game. So I see these girls as ladies, or let me use the ladies, permit me, I'm sorry for that. I see these ladies as ladies who are hungry, who already know what is at stake. They've tested the waters, they've swum with sharks, they know how to survive, in the middle of that ocean. And I think those survival skills will come to the fore at the Olympic Games. With or without the Ogumike sisters, I want them to be there. So it's not like I don't want them to. But even if we don't get the compliment of those ladies, I think the core of who we are, what we have, and Coach Zubli, we can do something great in Tokyo.
Thank you very much, Femi. I like this hopeful note on which you took us here. And I know that while the Olympics is on, we shall be on it. So just stay there on the call of the button. We shall hear your voice. Thanks, Femi. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
All right,
thank you for having me, sir.
Okay. He said, they've tested the waters. They've swum with the sharks. So putting them there is what Femi is saying, that we can go there and be hopeful that if the Tigers don't make it, probably the Tigress will go one step further and get that medal for us. So that is what we are looking at. We are looking at the Olympics. We are saying these things are doable, and how far can we go? In basketball, like we said, we talked about the NBA finals too. And in that NBA finals, the sun started like a house on fire, went up, and then the Bucks came back. But then when they returned to Phillies, they were saying, look, how can we get this done? The first quarter, I think 37-21, they were flying. But then from the second quarter, the games changed. And up to the last second of the fourth quarter, it could have, the pendulum was swinging from this side to the other side, and there was that great steal, I tell you this, that great steal from Devon Brook by Holiday, and that was it. And it ended 1-1, 1-1-9, 1, 2, 3. That 4 points, that point that could not be breached. So that is. Let us see. Like I asked him, is it going to be the Bucks in 6? Is it going to be Giannis? Trying to call that is okay. I call him the Greek freak. Let's stop there for basketball fans. And then he has that compliment of Holiday, Middleton. His elder brother too, is also there, but because of health reasons, he was not part of Game 5. Let's hope probably in Game 6 or 7, if it moves that way, that he will be back. So that is, and let's talk about the Ogumike case that, okay, maybe, okay, we have Erica, and we have Chine, but Ineka, she's played over 10 years for the US, played even against us at this level when they beat us, and so, okay, fine. But I say, look, if it is for the development of the game, that is what the rules are. That's what Nigeria is. That is what Nigeria is in filing that appeal. To say, look, we are not as developed in this game as the US. Her presence here will let, we have that ripple effect of building the game, of developing the game. Probably on that ground is what they are saying, hey, we can do that. We want to. He said, I want to go on a short break. We want to go on a short break. And when we do come back, Channel Sport on Sunday will continue. Okay, you welcome back. You welcome back. It is still Channel Sport on Sunday, and like we said, it's just a few days to the Olympics. And we'll say, how are we going to manage it? How are we going to get there? What is it going to be? We used to give this very intriguing stats. Intriguing stats on it has to do with Nigeria, Great Britain, and China. On how from 96 till date on the effect of the resultant effect of effective planning, the reward that you get for being consistent, but for translating your vision and others, and then but also. We'll look as if we can get, we have it as if we can talk about it, because we'll also open the lines for you guys. But there are things that sometimes we say here, and some people that we meet and we say, like, it's like, you are looking into the future. Basketball, football, a lot of these events, in order to develop it, you need the presence of individuals to come in. Somebody called, one of our callers made a contribution. I think it's about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and what he talked about bringing the Nollywood stars, to come in, be part of these teams, to boost spectatorship, to boost the fandom, to have the fans. Because if I say this guy is, if this Nollywood fan, I'm a fan of this Nollywood fan, and supporting, most of I've seen fans who followed clubs because Mourinho is the coach of that team. They will tell you, I'm not a football fan, I'm a Mourinho fan. So I will tell you, I'm not a Cristiano Ronaldo, I'm a Cristiano Ronaldo fan. I am a Messi fan. I am a this fan. So we expect those things to come in. A few years ago, that was, I think precisely, that was on the 21st of May 2012. We had him here. He has that sonorous voice. We came across. Some of us have not met him because you meet your stars either through their works, through his music. We met him. He was iconic. He was different. He was intelligent, and then he sent that message. He talks about societal ills and give that reasons for hope on how we can go about it. We caught up with him, his contribution. All that time, we never knew. Some of them, there is somebody one of those fans I've been talking with for almost about 7 years now. Sometimes I will bring him here. I will been agreeing to disagree when to come or how to come on air, and he has been busy. But one of these is I will tell you, Channel Sport on Sunday will supersede whatever business that he is going to have on those days. So in 2012, basketball was somewhere. There was some of issues of the federation and whatever. And we said, come on. So you not only play basketball, you support basketball. Let's go back to our file in 2012 and take, I don't want to call his name. When you see when we come back from the interview, you shall know who was here in 2012. Yeah, that is Sultan. Fasasi. All right, that is actually his name. Yes, sir. Yeah, but then we all know him as Sultan. Yeah. You guys, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Yeah, and we are talking basketball, Nigerian basketball. I will start with you. I want to start with Red. Normally, Red is supposed to be stopped, but then why don't you go with that? Sultan, you are known for music. Why basketball?
Well, I'm known more for music. Okay. I started playing basketball like some 20 years ago, more than that. I've been playing basketball for a long time. I played for Northern Warriors at some point, So basketball is not something I just picked up along the line. It's something that's been part of me. If you love basketball, you will love it eternally. That's how it is. Basketball is not a game you just pick up and just throw it. It comes with passion, so...
It's in your blood?
Yes, it's like that. I play basketball. I never left it, I still play inactively, but
okay.
Still play.
Okay, the next one, I still want to stick with him because the information we are gathering all over the world is that you are the owner of Lagos Islanders. Are you the owner of Lagos Islanders?
Yeah, well, you're not wrong. You're not too right. I'm a co-owner. Okay. I have shares in it. We have 4 owners, actually. Damoye, the incumbent owner, Mr. Ugu Udeze, Tajuddin Sulaiman, and myself, Sultan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you decided that why did you decide to buy into it? Of course, you say you have your passion, you have everything, but why put your money in it?
Yeah, well, the thing that is important for us to see is the Nigerian Basketball Federation is trying their best, but they need that push. Talk is cheap, like you always say. Put your money where your mouth is. So the likes of Damoye, Ugo, saw that dream, and they're like, okay, this is something that we can do. We can change the face. And my input there drastically is just, I've been seeing this. I've been watching the games. I've been watching all these games at the stadium. You see a place that could pack like 10,000 people, sitting only like 20 people, and they're the people waiting for their own game to come on. It's crazy. In a country with 180 million people, we can do better. Trust me. So that's what came to my mind. Comes to my mind every time I sit down at the stadium and in indoor sports and see how shabbily organized and everything is looking. Because basketball is a premium game. It's not just a game that you can just roll one ball. It's high maintenance, so to say. It's a high-profile game. We have to treat it like that so people will receive it the way it's supposed to be. And basketball, if you see NBA, it mixes up with a little bit of hip-hop, if I must say.
We're coming to that, but let me go to William. We just saw Sultan that said, let me ask you the question, is it demoralizing playing,
Absolutely.
Because like you said, you watch the NBA and then you see everywhere jam packed. Even school when my guys are not they tell about the March Madness, in the US where students play their game. But you adults, you are the best we have. Yeah, how do you feel like playing in an empty empty arena?
If you know no better, you will feel contented just being out there. But when you know better and you've seen how basketball is displayed all over the world on TV, and when you're actually there, you know that the feel, the happiness, that satisfaction of working out of when the game is over and knowing that you had crowd and you got them going home with something to cheer about. It pushes you. The adrenaline, the energy coming from the crowd is great. There's something that you cannot underestimate because we're all only human beings. When you have the little smile of a little girl, pretty girl down there, you know what I'm saying? Just simple, really, really simple things. You know what I'm saying? We athletes, we cherish very simple things. It's beyond glory. It's the human interaction. And when a very little amount of people come to watch games, you don't feel like you're doing something. We prepare hardly, practice is hard. So you come out in the game to feel exactly what you got, and then nobody's there to appreciate it. So it's a bad feeling, basically, when you play in an arena that is so big, when basically it's your own voice and the opponent that you hear shouting, so it's a good thing that
echoes.
Absolutely. And big ones. So it's a great thing that, Sultan here and our owners, are bringing this new thing in not only Nigerian basketball, I would say African basketball, because the music industry represented by him here is also dragging the whole of entertainment, watching those games at the landmark. How many times you're going to see J.J. Okocha or M.I.? How many times you have people will actually see them up close, and now basketball has provided that avenue, and it's a great thing. I believe that it has to keep going. I hope that some other people will pick it up to bring it, yet to greater heights.
Yeah, Olanrewaju, Astasi, sound, Sultan, the Sultan of music. And I tell you, he married music and basketball. The news did break last week, Sunday, before we came on air, that he's gone to be with his maker. And I tell you, while here, he did his best. The lines will be open you join us as we go on this thread, because it's always been part of your show on Channel Sport on Sunday. Jimmy is in the house. So the controversies are all there, but they're exciting ones. Jimmy, you're welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
That was actually in 2015.
21st of June.
21st of June, not in 2012. It was in 2015.
And,
yeah,
I think it's instructive what has happened.
Yeah.
You find a situation where he had not been celebrated enough. Now, a lot of people never knew that he had been that involved in basketball, because at that point in time there was this ABL, there was a controversy. The basketball federation at that time, there was this ABL.
The ABL was banned in Nigeria.
But we all saw the way they were able to, you know, get fans engaged. There was complete spontaneity, because the likes of Davido, they made it to, you know, the grounds to watch games, the games of the ABL games, and it was very, very exciting to have people come around. They were paying
5,000, 10,000
premium, because when you talk about sport activity,
basketball,
to watch basketball,
yes,
as at that time, Sultan, you know, he said it clearly. He co-founded the club, Lagos Islanders.
Yes,
with
there are four of them.
Damoye,
yes,
Udezwe, and also Adeyemi, TJ Adeyemi. And, you know, apart from what he had been able to do for basketball, the likes of Afolayan also was that involved that he got nominated into the Lagos State Board. And this is what we say: fusion of sports and entertainment, apart from education on the other side, is always going to, you know, help sports better. It generates interest, it helps engagement, community engagement. People that are also involved in other spheres can actually relate to sports, and before you know it, the ripple effect would ensure that sports can actually be transmitted as a business.
Okay, we're in Lagos now, and then what do we have on the line? Hello.
Olushi is my name. Olushi on the line.
Okay, Olushi, how are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah. Go on.
My sincere grateful to God for taking away our great brother, Sultan, music Sultan. We all miss him a lot. May God grant him Al-Jannah Firdaus, and the member of the family he left behind, both the children and the wife. May God, may so mercy, have mercy for all the shortcomings in this world. The prayer has to be granted always because of all what he has done for this galaxy world. He's a great hero for us. We lost. Thank you for being of this program, for sharing your appreciation on the behalf of the late Sound Sultan. Sound Sultan. We all miss him. May God put him to the external rest of peace.
Amen. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you very much. I like what Jimmy said. His contributions, you know, I know a lot of us never knew. You understand that not only was he very good at music, not only was he saying, look, we are fighting societal ills through this medium, he was also contributing to the development of basketball, actively participating, spending his money, his time, his energy, making sure that people have the opportunities, you know, and that is the thing. Today we'll talk about development of basketball. His contribution also led to where we are today.
Definitely.
You know, in that particular guides.
Definitely. And I think that, like I said, when you have sport and entertainment being fused together, it can really, really go a long way. And, well, like he just said, like Otumba Adeyinka just said, we wish, you know, the family the fortitude to bear this irreparable loss. And the basketball family, you saw what happened with the basketball players in the exhibition games.
Exactly.
Really, really coming through to
celebrate him. In that, of course, they were wearing that in our match against the USA before the USA match. I wish we can get that. We can see those visuals so that you can see them all wearing San Sultan, the shirt they were wearing, has his image right there, honoring him because he has done, he did so much basketball, for basketball in this country that even at that level, they recognize him. But some people were asking how, what, and that is why we are saying, look, he was here, and he said, look, like I asked him that there were whispers that you are the owner of. And
he said you may not entirely be right.
He said you may be right, or you may not entirely be right, and he is that way. Always that smiling. You just there. I tell you this: life is short, but then the time you have it, make that little impact.
Exactly.
And let people be happy when your name is spoken, when they see your face.
It was huge on societal change.
Very, very huge.
It was very huge.
Yeah.
He made his mark. The impact was always there. Felt till he died. Right from 2000, when he brought out the Jabajanti song, we saw what he had been able to do with his life, and that a lot of people resonate with the message of old till now. It's very important to make our marks.
So use mathematics to solve your problem.
Don't sing, okay, please.
Oh my God. All right. Okay. We are here. Let's go to Kaduna, and then I think we have Ali on the board coming. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Go on.
Ken, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Go on.
Yeah, this is Coach Raji from quite a long time.
Okay, Raji, of course. You're one of our regulars. How are you?
Fine. In fact, the death of South Sultan it's not just really a loss to Nigerian music industry, but it's also a great loss to Nigerian sports generally.
Yeah. We are listening, Raji.
May his soul continue to rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
I have been looking for an opportunity to speak. Concerning our league.
Okay. Go on.
I'm able to get you. With what's happening in our league, the level of success in our league, if it continues like this, I don't think any of our team will perform in the continent. In a situation whereby home teams have been made.
Hello? Okay, Raji probably should try and call back. The call has not been that smooth. There's been cracks and, interruptions somehow. Let's see if you can get us back. I know you're talking about our league, our standard of officiating, getting home results. This is that time of the season.
That we normally talk about
the season where home dominates.
Squeaky bum time.
Where home dominates. But to put, let me take this with Jimmy. He's talking about if these things continue, we won't be celebrating like Ali yesterday. Because yesterday in the CAF Champions League final, it was Al Ahly 3 and Kaizer Chiefs 0. That is their 10th victory. Like December, I know this is La Shashmi. I'm trying to get what they call it in the Arabic language.
Ken,
yes.
What I can say is very simple. I think that
Nigeria has 2.
We have 2, and we are 9th overall. And I think it's most important that we understand what our weaknesses are. We are not running professional football, so you need to not look at what one of the problems are. Look at the problems holistically and begin to solve them before you can expect anything.
Okay.
What happened in 2003?
Let's take Shegun, sorry.
Okay.
All right. Hello, Shegun.
Hello, good afternoon, Ken. Good afternoon, Jimmy.
Good afternoon, Shegun.
Sultan was not just an investor in the basketball today. I had the opportunity of seeing Sultan play basketball twice in Festac. That was years ago.
Yeah.
And he's made his mark. And one other thing about Sultan, apart from the fact that he was a level-headed guy, very humble, he had no scandal at all as a celebrity. I think the majority of a celebrity has one or two things to pick I believe they stand a better chance than the men. That is not writing off the men. Beating the US and Argentina is huge, man. I only hope that it is not a fluke. I just hope that they can interpret this at the games proper. Because no, I only hope so. Ken, I only hope it is not. But I'm putting my hard-earned money on the girls. That is not to say that the guys will be there.
We took that surprise. Shagu, the same thing. When we saw that game, you know, sometimes you are afraid to watch certain games. They will just massacre us. And then we went over there and saw that up to the last, we're dropping those 3-pointers. So we dropped about 20 3-pointers.
Or thereabouts.
Yeah, they're about to give us 6. We scored 90. I don't know about 60 of those points.
Okafor, Precious Achua, all of them. Yeah. They were doing it imperiously. And I think the question is, does it look like a fluke? I do not think so, but at the end of the day, you consider the fact that the Americans, like Femi had said, they are not exactly as talented as the dream teams of old. When you look at the size, they don't have the size that the other ones, the previous teams before them, actually do have. And like you said, you talked about Kevin Love. I also think
Kevin Love has dropped out.
Kevin Love has dropped out. Kevin Love and Durant, those two are those that are actually like veterans in that team, but they don't have the veterans. And I think that without the talent of those ones, you have other guys feel that they can take them on easily.
I think let us say we are going with our best. They are going with they believe they can just take 11, you know, and select their team to go over there. Because if you have the Steph Currys of this world, you have all those, they bring them in, they will just
you know, they had the bronze medal in 2004, and ever since that particular bronze medal they had in 2004, they had over 50 games winning streak. So if they don't do too well right now, expect that they dominate after the Olympics again.
Okay, let us go on a final break. When we come back, the lines will still be open. I will tell you, should Jorginho, you know, win the Ballon d'Or, or is it Messi's time for number 7? Stay with us. Okay, welcome back. Okpe has just joined us. I know how the road is. So Okpe, congratulations on making it.
You will know which one to pick between insecurity, LTV, and of course, sport is actually defeating COVID.
Yes.
But can sport defeat insecurity? I just a very bad one. A PhD student, my cousin, was murdered right in his room.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry about
that. A PhD student. So if sport can defeat COVID scare, because we are having the Olympics and the Paralympics, can we defeat insecurity?
Okay, let's because he is saying it. Let us hear from the IOC president. Is talking about, because all polls that were taken prior to this, the Japanese said, we don't want this Olympics. You know, majority of them say, look, cancel it. Others, whatever it is, we know we've made losses. But he's still trying to assure them that, you know, we've had about 19 cases of, at least official testing positive at their company. He said, look, we are putting everything in order. You guys should not be afraid. But there is the case of the Kenyan, weightlifter who just disappeared. He said Uganda who just got to get there, and then the guy, when they say go and take your COVID, the guy disappeared and wrote a letter that, look, I'm not going back. So let's hear from the IOC.
Out of these 15, only 15, I may say, were tested positive at their arrival or during screening tests. So this is a very low rate of 0.1%. It goes without saying that all the concerned people were immediately isolated, and in this way they do not pose any risk.
Anyway, it said 0.1%, from they tested about that, about 15 athletes tested positive. But like my colleague just, kind of remember, I was talking about Kenya, a Ugandan athlete, the guy just got into Tokyo. They said, go and do your COVID test. And while he was going there, he just packed his things and
local balance or Japa
and disappeared. And the next they had from me was about 200 kilometers away. It was there. All right, let's go to let's go. I think Paul is there. I know this Paul. Hello, Paul.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you, Paul?
Fine.
Good.
I want to say something about the D Tigers. Our Nigerian D Tigers. They are doing very, very well this time.
Okay.
Doing very, very well. They should keep it up. They should try to do more. They should try to do more. Understand?
Yeah.
And I want to talk about the mini football championship that are going on in Nigeria, in Ibadan, isn't it? That the mini football championship that is going on in Nigeria. I want to know I want to know the country that won the title.
Which okay, mini football. All right.
Yeah, they played it in Ibadan or
Ibadan. Okay. When we get the details, we'll give it to you.
Huh?
When we get the details, we'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. So, okay. That's the Olympics. I don't know. Next week, we'll try and see, because we'll talk about our journey. We'll look about our journeys. We'll start from that threshold here. Of course, our first ever medal was in Tokyo. We're back to Tokyo now. But in '64, that was when, Nojim Egu did that. In boxing, he got that bronze medal for us. 8 years later in Munich, as Korea, we're saying this up in time, also went to the Olympics and got us, another bronze. Our first silver was in '84, also courtesy of boxing by Peter Konyegwache. You understand? I think we have about 5 boxers there. We have Jorewa, we have Okoro Dudu.
I think Wampa.
No, was very professional then. Was very professional then. Wampa and Davison and all those, they were in the 70s. They were already fighting.
And they won the, I think, 80 the world
championship that he went down to. So we've come a long way from Tokyo that we came from. Tokyo, we're going back, and anytime we go to the east, we do well. We come well. We won our first under-17 World Cup in the east. Even in Japan, '93, we won in the east.
Yeah. Under 20, we got nothing from Seoul.
Of course,
that's a separate case.
Now we got our gold medal in Australia. It is still in Sydney. Yeah. It's still in 4x4.
Associated.
You understand?
So
but the presidency have said something. Why sending them forth? They said, okay, they want a repeat of '96 and 2004.
Whether it's possible,
and 2004.
Whether it's possible is a different kettle of fish entirely.
You see, the thing is, when you, of course, a lot of preparation.
Your preparation must meet with opportunity.
You understand? We've got issues of adopting teams when they are about traveling. You want to motivate. You don't motivate what is not there.
Exactly.
You understand? You need the motivation should come when they are preparing 3-4 years ago.
And it's always a 6 to 8 years cycle.
Yeah, that is the thing. It depends on your trajectory of growth. You understand? But you don't not at the point that somebody wants to die. That's why you want to give the person drugs. I mean, for goodness sake, what have you done?
Survival instinct.
But Ken, when you look at the trajectory of the likes of Ese Brome, Odwayo Adekoroye, Toby Amuson, I think it's safe to say these are medal prospects by any standard, regardless of whatever anyone may want to say. Just because they've shown, when it comes to sterner stuff, they have it. When it comes to actually bringing big game mentality into competitions, they do have it, and they are, in the medal zone of their own competition.
Where are you seeing the medals from?
For the 100 meters, the smartest person will be on that podium, because the 10 fastest time, Blessings like number 8. Now Richardson is pulling out, so she's like world leading number 7. Okay, let's go to Kaduna. Hello, Biodun.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Ken.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm fine, fine. Fine, yeah.
You can't speak.
I'm a first-time caller on your program.
Okay.
Though severally I've tried calling, but it doesn't go through. Let me go straight to my point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to especially on the Tigers, particularly on the Tigers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was opportune to watch all their 3 games. The one again, Argentina, USA,
and Australia.
Australia in particular.
Yeah.
I think all I have to say is that the coach should go back to the drawing board and try and look at the kind of tactics, especially their game against Australia, because Australia seems to be in fact, they are the best. Because Australia seems to be the best.
69 or so.
Yes, they seem to be the best. So I wish them the best of luck, and I want to say a great thank you to you people. You have been doing a very great job, and we wish Nigeria the best of luck in Tokyo 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Biodi. Thank you very much.
I honestly think it's...
because I was asking a question. You say, where will the medals?
I honestly think it's going to be a bonus for...
We're coming from...
Okagbari to get in the final...
Yes, 108.69 against Australia.
We should not be deceived by the ranking.
Which one? The power ranking.
No, that's not the power ranking.
No, that's cosmetic.
So that's cosmetic. The Aussies will be our first opponent in Tokyo.
In Tokyo, that's 20. I think is it 27th?
Yeah,
I think our first match is 27th or so.
And they were clearly superior in that exhibition game.
They came up when they come up against that against the US. You understand? It was as if the US was running.
They showed they clearly is business.
Male and female.
Male and female.
I watched their female also dominate the US.
And it looks like this might just be the tournament of breakthrough. And to suggest something here, I think that if Blessing Okagbari actually gets into the final 8 of the 100 meters, it will be a fantastic bonus for Nigeria. Because when you look at the likes of Sherika Jackson, what they have been able to do, Sherika, Dina Ashasmith, De Ponte, Liaye, Talu, I don't think Aore is really in form. Toribawe. I mean, they have fantastic people.
Looking at our
it would be fantastic for Blessing to just get into the final.
I think one of the callers says, oh no, it wasn't the caller. It was Femi what about. Okay, let's go straight to Kaduna again. Raji is back. Hello, Raji.
Yeah. Good day, Ken.
Yes.
So I could not finish that time because of network.
Exactly. Yeah.
So as I was saying, I visited some of the matches played in our league so far. The level of officiating needs to be improved upon.
Okay.
If our referees continue the way they are officiating matches, especially at home, there is no way our teams can perform well in the continent. Because they are systematically giving rooms to teams that cannot do well to have an avenue to represent the country in the continent. And if they go ahead to achieve that aim, there's no how our team can perform in the continent. You will see a team we prepare well, played well. At the end of the day, a referee will just come from nowhere and start, performing blunder. It's not improving our league at all. I watched many matches. For example, there was a match. The match played against Pillars and Heartland of Owerri. Pillars against Enyiba of Aba. The referees that officiated those matches did not have any business in our league at all. Please, if our league needs to be improved upon, then there is need for our referees to be educated. They should put sentiment aside. They should
try to, work on their integrity, which matters most. Thank you.
Thank you, Raji. Thank you very much. Education. Last week we said it here. Who is what's his name? The coach that is officially the final. The Euro 20 final.
Yeah.
That the guy is worth over 12 million pounds. We are going. We are going. So,
well, I think the clamor should be for structures to be put in place, proper structures. Because if you don't have proper structures, then you'll be talking about officiating without actually nailing the real.
Pay them well.
Just pay them well. Professional administration.
When you pay them well,
yes.
Guarantee their
safety. That is
security
the
has to be there.
When started with insecurity, now you're talking about safety.
That is the thing. We are not talking about it. Al Ali, when they went to South Africa to go and employ Pitsu, do you know how much they're paying? The guy is earning $120,000, $150,000 a month. I mean, so calculate that. I mean, somebody were talking about Junior Ajayi, one of our players who won the Champions League with him. That won about $1 million a year. That is the budget of a football club in Nigeria. For goodness sake, that's why I said government, give people to run it, collect money from private sectors, leave your hand, and use that money to put in primary schools and education. I'm Ken Ochonogo. Have a blessed Sunday.